What's going on, guys? What's up? Back here, I told you gotta switch it.
Switch it, motherfuckers.
Switcheroo.
Do the switcheroo.
Switcheroo. Back here once again, Dylan's Horror Show. If you're new here, hit that like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get all notifications. We're always dropping something new. Tonight we're here to review.
Man, we can't get newer than this.
It can't get newer. Just came out today in theaters. The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Just came out in theaters. The new
we saw
vampire movie based off of Bram Stoker's Dracula novel, or based off the chapters of the Captain's Log.
Yeah.
So it's not based off the entire book. They're cutting out like that first chunk and kind of just going right into that middle part. But we've seen these stories so many times, so it's gonna be nothing new.
Different.
But different. But this is definitely, if you've seen the trailer, I recommend not even watching the trailer, just going in to see this if you're a Dracula fan. This is definitely giving off more creature feature vibes. And speaking of, nice job on that intro, brother. That was actually really nice. But yeah, I thought this movie was looking really good. Period piece, which I really always enjoy. I always, enjoy just something different. And from what we saw in the trailer, that Dracula was going to be like a creature in this, so it was more of like a creature feature. And
at least for more of the movie,
that made it more interesting that we weren't going to get this very pretty, handsome Dracula that we're used to. And
this reminded me a little bit of
the cinematography. Looked great from the trailer, and I was very excited to go see this in the theater.
This Dracula reminded me a little bit of the Dracula in the movie we talked about a while back, that Night Flyer.
The Night
Flyer, yeah.
I love the Stephen King one. I love that one.
Because he looks kind of similar to that at the end, and he kind of dressed kind of almost the same. This movie gave me major, to me, it's not only a Dracula movie, but this movie, I like half of it, major ghost ship type vibes, where you get the whole thing with the ship is inhabited by something, a ghost, a force. Right. So it's like a ghost ship movie mixed with a Dracula movie,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
What really me.
You would almost think that it's just like a ghost ship movie, but then they mix it with the with Dracula, you know, like that.
Right,
That's the whole thing that it starts off with, is that that old wives' tale that if you bring a woman on board, you're down,
right.
you're fucked
Do it.
automatically.
Yeah.
If you know, you see these certain signs, then they're off to a bad voyage, and you know, just those you know, those bad luck signs that people looked out for, and that would be like, nope, I'm not going on this trip. Like that. That once he saw the dragon, you know, he's like, no, that's bad. That's a bad omen, you know. So there, um, that was actually really cool, because I always love period pieces, and I love like pirate type
Yeah,
movies.
pirate movies, and this was a major pirate type movie.
Yeah, you know, so I was really looking forward to this movie, and just looking how dark a lot of stuff was, and just,
Very
you
dark.
know, yeah, like just the setting of this movie and the
Yeah,
cinematography.
most of it's at
I
night.
was, I was very excited to see what they were gonna pull off with this, because the director on this, I think his name's like Andre Goval or something.
Yeah, somebody like
He
Gumad.
hasn't done much. It's Andre Overdahl or something. And the only big thing I've seen that he's done is the autopsy of Jane Doe. He did
Heard of
this
it, but I
movie
haven't seen it.
Mortal and that Troll Hunter. Um, so he hasn't done like a lot of big things. Maybe some people heard of that Mortal movie because that came out in 2020. But this is like, I don't even think I've seen that autopsy of Jane Doe. So this is really my introduction to him. And if this is like his first like big wide release movie, I mean, I think he did a pretty good job. I ended
Yeah,
up
pretty
really
authentic.
I really enjoyed this movie. I think it definitely could have been better. It definitely has some issues that
Yeah,
I definitely wish were, I wish that it was done a little better. Um I don't know if it was money or what, but there's just some things with the story that are just, kind of like, same old shit, that we're used to. Um, they kind of try to like throw the men to the side at one point and make this woman like the big shit deal, and I wasn't that crazy
right.
about that.
Well, she
Um,
is kind
it was
of.
just very far fetched, you know.
There's not much masculinity in movies anymore where you get a hero.
Do a near dark thing with the blood transfusion fusion. They don't go all the way with it. They go, if you see Near Dark, where they like do the blood transfusion to take away the vampire
Right,
in this,
right, yeah, yeah.
they just kind of stop it so that because otherwise she should have
It
been
del-
dead
yeah, it
day
delays
one.
it really. Yeah, it delays
It
it.
delays it, yeah. Which I guess, but honestly, I'd have been fine if they just killed her. Like, because we're
Well,
supposed to be following
yeah,
Corey Helm in this, or is
yeah.
that
Well, that's the
Corey?
thing. Corey
Corey
Hawkins is his name.
Corey
Yeah.
Hawkins, which
I
I thought he was
I'm getting
good. My favorite would be the David Das Machine guy.
right.
He's from
Mhm.
Suicide Squad. Um, he was in that new Boogeyman movie, and Liam Cunningham from Game of Thrones. I was more kind of invested in the guys that were a part of the crew instead of like Corey Hawkins, who just, he seemed, I did like his character, but it was just there wasn't a lot of meat on the bones for his character, you know what I mean? So it's like they want to make you like think that he's the main guy, but they're not giving you much. And then they almost like they're like, this is our main guy. And then when they go to the girl, it's like then they do a switch where it's like, no, now it's like now the woman's the main chick in a way. And
Well, I think
not fully, where they kind of then share the spotlight. You
yeah.
know what I mean? But
I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Is your speakers on because of something? Because I'm
I'm
getting
good.
some feedback, and I don't know
I'm
if
good,
it's
bro.
mine. All right, but
Um,
yeah, I think they come close to getting a little overbearing with her, but they just pull it back enough that it's not really a
yeah,
problem.
it
But
was never
I
like,
can see where people could have issues with it.
yeah,
Um, they come up with enough explanation of why Quay Hawkins will be there because a lot of times you know African Americans are shoehorned into areas like they shouldn't be in.
yeah. And they make it where
That
he's a
point in time, in
doctor.
that point in time, but his story made sense that he was a doctor that studied overseas, and then of course he can't because of his race. He can't practice anywhere, and that did happen. It's a good story for placing him there. So,
Yeah,
it's a good reason for him to be there. Unlike something like we make a Magnificent Seven where we get quite, people there that should be there at the time
or
because
whatever.
it just didn't happen. Mario
Yeah.
Peoples won that. But
Yeah.
and then the girl is somebody from her village that was, being used as a lunch for Count Dracula.
Yeah.
Um, so it kind of makes sense he's there. But yeah, you're right. We get enough of the other people, like the first mate that he promotes to captain, and some of the other guys. You kind of feel for their plight because, and then you get that cook, that wacko cook, the religious guy that turns on everybody really, and then gets his out in a boat in the middle of the ocean there. Um, but yeah, I did like the movie. There's issues. There's those issues to talk about. There's a little bit of a pacing issue where they're looking through the ship to find where he is, and I kind of wish that went faster. I mean, it took them a while before they even got to the manifest. Plus, they knew because the guy said about the box with the dragon on it. Why weren't they just looking for it? But he wasn't in it
Right.
anyways. But otherwise, I thought it 2 hours. The pacing was really good, but just the whole cinematography, it gave that good vibe of being lost at sea. And it starts off in the beginning where this has already happened. No one's on board. The ship has crashed, and then you get like the flashback for the rest of the story after you find
Yeah.
out, what truly happened at the end. I love the effects in this.
And
Yeah,
crashed on.
the effects on the ship are nice. The effects when the vampires are burning up in the sun, which they did keep from like near dark. Those were done really well. The burn up scenes. They had balls to kill a kid early on. Spoiler.
Yeah.
This is a
A
spoiler.
dog and a kid. They kill a dog. They kill all the
Right.
animals and they
Yeah.
kill a dog.
And
Which
the captain gets fucking burnt and messed up the shit there when he's hugging his
yeah. And if you didn't
grandson, I
know,
guess.
obviously I'll have it on the tag, but this is a spoiler, a big spoiler review, obviously. So I recommend going to see this in theater if you're a big horror fan. And
But
um, yeah, I wouldn't mind because the way they leave this open too, where there could be a sequel. So I wouldn't mind to get a sequel because I kind of did enjoy this world that they kind of built and the darkness. It was different.
yeah,
Like it was the same but different. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Well,
we've done the story, but like it's a
right.
different Dracula in a way.
Well,
And I
yeah,
really
because
enjoyed it. I loved his look. You know?
yeah, this portion of the whole story where is in the 1931 Dracula. Bela Lugosi basically in that movie. Bela Lugosi wants to leave Hungary or Transylvania, and he
Right.
wants to go to England to get this property that is owned by the people that Renfield, his familiar,
Yeah.
um, uh, represent. And he bites Renfield, and they go on a long sea cruise together. Renfield's feeding him while he's asleep, and they leave Renfield out of this because maybe they felt with the Renfield movie coming out, that would just be another character they'd have to do.
Yeah.
Maybe Corey Hawkins' character could have been Renfield. That could have worked
Maybe.
too.
Maybe
But
they
he's
just
not
wanted to focus on Dracula, like just
right.
take it. I felt like they just wanted it to be like like a ghost
Yeah,
ship movie where a monster is just taking
yeah.
people off, and you know what I
And
mean?
and the girl kind of takes Renfield's place because she is doing basically what Renfield was doing for him. So that
Yeah.
girl from the village is taking the
I
place.
wonder if that's kind of what the plan was, and then once fucking Renfield came out,
I
they
don't
kind of
know.
maybe they maybe switched things up a little bit and did some reshoots or something. I don't
But
know.
every story is a little different. But so in this one, we get a Dracula is basically like a creature, like a bat creature mixed with a bird or whatnot, and you kind of question yourself because he does almost looks like
And he
uh,
doesn't really talk.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, and that's one of
So
my all-time favorite
right.
Draculas is the Nosferatu
So
look.
later on when he appears in his kind of human
In
clothes,
England, when they get to England,
he's got to stay in the shadows because he looks like a
but
fucking
he's
something
got the
weird.
limp. He's got like the all black, the top
Right.
hat. He looked so good,
He
though.
looks
I
really
thought
good.
he looked so creepy.
Very,
I
very,
love
very
that.
tall. And just
Very
sitting there.
tall. I thought that was so good, and that's the one thing where I'm like, I would love to get a sequel of that.
Yeah.
I would love to get a whole movie of him like that. You know what I mean? I think that would be
So
incredible.
yeah, so the crew basically finds out that basically because this trip takes months, that Dracula's just been you know uh, rationing out his food sources by
Yeah,
just killing one of them a night
yeah,
until he gets close enough to the shore so they can get off the ship and
yeah.
go to
When
England.
we first talked, we thought we were like, well, couldn't he have just like flown there? Now because this
Well,
Dracula
that's
can
yeah. But then
fly, you know what I
the
mean?
big
For
reveal
some,
is
they
in
have
the
the thing where he
movie.
can turn into a bat,
Yeah,
but this
yeah,
one, he wouldn't make it though because that's why he had to ration it, and because
right.
he had
Well, he
to,
went right.
it's a long trip. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not, you know what I mean?
But the thing is, and that I have a couple of issues with this. He could have just left the ship at the point where they were close enough to England and flew off and gone there, and just don't worry about the rest of the bullshit
Right.
going on. But he wanted to kill those
And
people.
I told you though, then he would have left it open for him to be kind of outed, like in England, and then more people would be looking for him.
Well, right,
Now it's only
exactly,
Corey
right,
Hawkins looking
right,
like a crazy fuck looking for him. Where, and but originally he probably thought Corey was dead.
right.
That's the thing. He didn't want to out himself because that's a big thing about him going to England is he's trying to buy like new land and kind of start anew and have all this fresh meat to be able
Right.
to cycle through, so he's not really trying to out himself because obviously that there is like in this, I mean, not specifically this movie, but we know in Dracula's world there is Van Helsing, there is, people that do like
Mm.
try to hunt him down, so it's not like he's just completely
Well, right.
unbeknownst.
And that's why I kind of questioned the plan to get rid of him because basically he just planned to scuttle the ship. And I had to
Yeah,
question whether just drowning him would actually even have killed him, really.
I know.
I don't think it
I
really
know. Well,
would
I
have.
thought they were setting the ship on fire, and then they start that they're gonna sink the ship.
Right.
Like that they were gonna like drown it. Like they thought he was in his like dirt, and they were gonna like drown the ship. And I was like, I didn't know that. I didn't think that would work. It all
Well,
seemed kind of be a bit goofy, like that.
right.
That
Well,
the way
the
that
whole
they're
thing,
gonna kill him, and just it's like you're just not gonna do it. It's like you're best off
mm.
waiting for that sun to come up and just holding him out.
Well,
Um,
what's dumb is the scene where they're looking for Dracula and they're in the hold and they get to his box and the box is got this elaborate lock system where you pull the corners and shift the lever and then the box opens up. But there's no way that Dracula could be in the box because who would have reset those locks? If he opens it, he's got to get in the box and then he's got to do all the locks on the side. So there's no way he could have been in there to begin with. And they're undoing all the locks. You know he wasn't going to be in there. How could he be? That
right.
didn't make any sense. Um, my only but yeah, I love most. I think I liked the beginning of the movie, like the first half, a little bit
Yeah,
better than the end, but I did like it throughout. But I was fascinated by the whole shipboard stuff. I think you maybe
me
could have
too.
seen Dracula a little bit more, maybe one or two more kills where you
Yeah.
saw him a little more. But
They not to say that they didn't have a good amount too, though. There
they
definitely is
had
a
quite
good
a bit. Yeah, they had
but
quite a
I
bit.
could definitely have used more for sure. I
Yeah,
always could.
I love
But
that
I did. I
scene where the
really enjoyed the first half, and then yeah, that's where the second half starts kind of fading out a bit. Like with the girl stuff, and then
Right. Well, I like how he ends up being. He was actually in the captain's quarters with the kid. He was in there all
yeah,
the time, and then
yeah,
he's chasing the kid through the thing. That was pretty good. And then
yeah. That was
know,
really cool. How he's like crawling around the ship. They
right,
just did the really creepy shots where like when he's weak, especially like when he first like his first couple kills, and he's weak because he's been just sitting in the dirt for a while, and he's just kind of like creeping around, crawling around, just like like he's Gollum or something. I thought that was like really fucking creepy.
yeah. In
And
one of the shots, he looked a little like
big
Gollum.
hands. What
Mhm.
was that?
In one of the shots, I think he looked a little like Gollum early on. A
Yeah,
little bit. He reminded me of
definitely,
that.
definitely. There's
I
definitely
also
some.
thought I also thought they could have been a bit more proactive. They really weren't doing a lot to do something about it. Really, there was a
Yeah,
lot of ground scenes down the hold where you know, eventually they got up and they fucking, and it makes sense. I mean, if he's down in the ship, then you want to be up on the fucking top, just lock all the fucking shit up and he can't get out. Or at least if he
yeah,
gets out, you can hear him getting out. Because how can you get
yeah,
out fucking making some noise, you know? everybody, it's got the whole Walking Dead stealth zombie thing where these guys can be as quiet as they need to be sneak behind you, and no one
Yeah.
ever fucking hears you.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think it was a pretty good take on that. I'd be interested to see how well this does at the movies.
I am too.
There's a lot of people who like horror though, and this is really, we've gotten a lot of the A24 Smile and Barbarian. This is a good old fashioned monster movie,
Yeah.
and you really
Yeah.
haven't had any of those.
No, I
They,
know. That's why I was so hyped for this, and I was really hoping a lot for it, which I go in kind of hoping too much sometimes, and nowadays it's very easy to be let down with movies, but
yeah,
I don't think it was a terrible movie. I think it's just a lot of stuff that we've seen before, and but I think that the cinematography was really great. I think that the look of Dracula was really cool and something different, not just like the pretty boy Dracula. And it's not like it wasn't the Renfield helping him do so. They tried to do some things different, and I was really, I was really into the stuff with the boat, man. I thought that boat looked, the Demeter looked, or the Demeter looked
right.
really good. I thought the
Yeah, it was
design
shot
on
well.
the boat looked really well, and I kind of just wish like that they maybe got a little bit more into like the crew and everything, like where you kind of start getting into it, and then they just kind of start picking them off, and that's where it was like I kind of wish you got more into like the crew and how like the
Right.
crew can be that the crew is like they're on the ship for months and they become like family in a way, and
Well, that's the
then
thing. I
they
think.
start getting picked off. They kind of get too quick into the killing, and
Yeah,
then that's
yeah.
all they care about is that one guy's getting picked off each night. Then it almost feels
Right.
like after that.
Yeah, because you don't get the feeling that a trip like that took months, and you
Yeah,
should kind of
it
get
almost
there's
feels
no
like it starts being day by day after that,
yeah,
and you're like,
it almost feels like it happened over the course of like a week,
yeah,
this whole thing. And
yeah,
this story takes months, and it took like 3-4 months to get across the ocean. And I
yeah,
wish they had more of that sense of time passing.
yeah,
Like
uh,
they could have did a thing where initially they had got attacked, but then the attack stopped, and they
yeah,
stopped like a week, and they're all in the
right,
holes waiting for the next thing to happen, and then it gets going again.
yeah.
Something like
Like
that could have been
was
interesting.
almost because it's almost like once he comes out one time, he doesn't even give a fuck. He just keeps trying to kill people. Whereas like more like I wanted the mystery to keep unraveling. Where it's like we
Yeah.
already know like what it is, and it's like they just kind of seem stupid because it's like why look for the fucking dragon thing. You know what I mean?
Right,
Um,
exactly. That's why would they looking for that body? They're looking all over the place.
they should have kept it a mystery, like why this guy died, and then like then they take some time, and then it's like they like where they're like, what's the fuck's going on? Like are we cursed?
Or
Like
what they
acting
could
like
have done.
we're cursed and all this.
There was a scene I think in the movie where it was alluded to that it happens like sometimes these ships take bodies back to America to be buried. People that lived across the
Right,
sea. So it'd be
right,
interesting if they had like they didn't show any crest. It was just a pine box, and say they had 40 people that they would take in one of these crates. One of these people are Dracula, but they don't know who.
yeah,
That would have been fucking interesting.
yeah,
You know.
that would be cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's
But I like
definitely things they could have done was better, but
yeah,
what
but I like what they did. But it gave me definitely night uh, flyer vibes there. Um, just the
the look of the
presentation,
vampire.
yeah, definitely the presentation of the vampire gives me vibes like that.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I like pretty much everything about that. I mean, that whole scene where the grandson bursts on fire, burns him, and then he's floating down. He's
yeah,
all burnt up. And
yeah.
I
That
expected
gave
them.
me like a Salem's Lot vibe when like
I
the
would have loved to seen it
kids
though,
are
where the kid's all burnt up and he's being drowned. He's dropping. I would have
yeah,
loved to see him
and you see
moving
like
around and trying to get back
they
up.
show a split second, but it's just him kind of floating
Uh,
to the ground, and you just like see his eyes like all white and stuff. But that's
yeah,
kind of how you know once they've turned because their skin goes like
right.
pale white, like where they look like a zombie almost, and their eyes start going white, which
Well,
was kind of
I love
interesting.
that scene where they had that guy that turned tied up right before he catches on fire because it's daytime, and
Yeah.
he's like alert, and he's like the regular guy. He's going, I just hear like everything. I'm super alert, and I can smell your blood. And but he's talking normal. Other than that, that was a great scene. I would have
Yeah.
liked to see more of that. That guy was very interesting. The guy that was going after the kid.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Definitely. Yeah.
and
There's that one guy.
it also gave me kind of Master and Commander vibes too, a little bit. That
Oh, really?
Russell Crowe movie with the ship.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed it, and I hope it does well. I like to see
Yeah.
more monster type movies do well. We haven't
Yeah.
had any this summer, so
Yeah. This is the first one I've seen, I feel like, in a while, honestly, too. Like, not even just this summer, but this is the stuff that I grew up loving, and I love me some creature feature movies, and
well, that's
I
what
just
we need
love
to
the
get. Somebody's got
setting
to
of it.
do. Somebody's got to do another good werewolf movie, another howling type movie, or
Yeah. And I want it to
mummy, or some.
yeah, I'd like it to be like a period piece too.
I
Maybe.
can't believe after all these years, and it's been like 50 fucking years, and they've had werewolves and Dracula, that no one has done a Creature from the Black Lagoon remake.
I
I
know.
mean, that is
Well,
so
they did the
right.
shape of water.
Now, the Shape of Water is not the Creature from the Black
I
Lagoon.
know. But that's what
She was fucking
that
the
that's what they
creature.
would probably that's what
I
they
don't
would
want to get this. I want to see this creature get more fucking action than me. Fuck
yeah.
that. Fucking creature's
Right.
not gonna get laid, motherfucker. He's a creature.
That's that's depressing.
I want him killing, not fucking shagging.
Right.
Or he can kill and shag like the humanoids are deep. Those
Right.
fuckers are cool. They came out, they fucking murdered, and they fucked the hot titty women.
Right.
They had it down. They knew what the fuck they were
Oh,
doing.
they knew what they were doing. Hell yeah. Oh my God.
In the way humanoids is kind of like the creature of the Black Lagoon for the 20th century.
Yeah.
Just fucking horny, that's all.
Or it's like the 80s version.
The 80s version, the horny 80s version.
Yeah, I thought the ship, I thought, the period of this movie was really great. I thought the look of Dracula was dope, and you do get some practical effects with the kills and some stuff like with that Dracula's hands and stuff. There is a good amount of CGI in there, but there
Well, I
is a
think
lot of practical in there, which was
yeah,
nice to see.
I think all the kills are practical. It's just the creatures CGI in spots.
Yeah, yeah. Which it's like you get it's gonna happen, but I thought it
But
looked really
because the movie's so dark that the CGI kind of works because you
yeah,
don't really get great glimpses of
yeah,
things. You get
definitely.
that one scene where he's talking to the guy Dracula. I think that's a prosthetic. I think at that
Yeah,
point.
I have to
So
see. Yeah, I this is one I hope gets a 4K, and I hope maybe they
it won't.
I
It's Universal.
probably, but I hope it gets some good behind the scenes or something at least, because this is one I definitely would
I
like to.
definitely will be boycotting it. I can't do it. I can't. Megan and all these movies should have got 4Ks, and I can't buy a
Well,
Blu-ray
they're
anymore.
never gonna get it if that's all they're gonna get. That's what you're gonna
I
get.
no, I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna keep it up. But
Uh,
I can't be a snob because some Blu-rays are good. In fact, today a buddy of mine came to the house and he brought over the four Star Wars DVDs. I thought they were the ones that were the original non-fucking, and they didn't end up being that,
yeah,
unfortunately. But I threw them in, and on my OLED with the up
yeah,
converted 4K player, the DVDs look damn not bad at all for
yeah.
Star Wars. I was surprised.
Right.
So they can still look good depending on your equipment. But
Yeah,
still,
dude.
I
That's
just
that's
think I
DVD,
just
man.
think the movie
Right.
does really well, like like Violent Night did, and some of those movies did. They deserve to get a 4K because man, if they're bringing out some of these other movies in 4K,
Yeah.
you know,
No,
no
definitely.
excuse for it. No excuse.
Definitely. Definitely. I agree. It's very weird. It's very weird.
And this movie,
I think they're just trying to save marketplace by
yeah,
not having Blu-rays and 4K releases
and
and
this movie would benefit because the 4K would have the HDR,
yeah,
and that
with
would
the
really
dark.
help with the dark scenes.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is one I definitely look forward to rewatching at home, like in the pitch black. And I enjoyed it. It's a buy for me, but it definitely isn't perfect. It definitely has some flaws. Um, but I think if you're an old school horror fan and you love creature feature movies, I think you'll have a fun time with it. But I think you will go in and you'll see some of the flaws, and they're either gonna maybe piss you off, or you're gonna just say fuck it and roll with the punches and enjoy the movie for what it is, and you know, be like, oh, that was an interesting, cool creature feature, and we don't get many of those. I feel like nowadays, so maybe that's why I give it a bit of a pass. But I don't think it's a terrible movie by any means. I just think it's just
Yeah,
something we've seen
I'm
before.
interested
It's a
anytime.
story we've seen before with a different style vampire. That's what it is, like Dracula. It's a different version of Dracula
Yeah,
in the same story that we know. 'Cause I
yeah,
mean, I
I was,
love that when Netflix did that Dracula movie, the 3-part. I fucking love the
yeah,
first
I
two
still have
parts.
to watch that. I haven't
Third,
seen it.
the third part I didn't really care for at all. But the first two parts were so fucking good. You gotta check that out. That was really good. That was more like that was darker too, man. And they do like part one where it's Renfield or the one guy. I don't know if it's Renfield or just the one attorney guy coming to Transylvania. Then they do part two where he's on the captain. Then they do part two, which is the captain's log. Then they do part three, which is like in the future or something, which I did not like.
Right.
Because the first part one and part two are like period pieces, and then part three takes place more like in the future, and
Yeah,
I didn't.
didn't they do a movie called like Dracula 2099 or 2100
Yeah, I think so.
90s?
2001, 2001
Yeah,
or something.
and it was in the future with Dracula. I kind of remember.
Well, I don't know if it was in the future, but it's
Yeah,
2001.
yeah,
It was just not a period piece. I think it was supposed
right,
to take. It's supposed to take place in 2001 or
right,
whatever.
right,
But I don't know if they ever did a 2099. That's I think that's Spider Man. But you want to get into the rating, and I mean, I'd say we can do your favorite kill, but honestly, I kind of got to go back and watch it because some I kind of forget.
yeah, yeah. There was
That
some
mine
good. I
would
think.
be maybe one of the guys when he gets his face smashed into the bottom of
Right.
the into the to the floor of the ship. I thought that was cool, but I would probably what would you give this rating out of 5?
Out of five, I would give it a 3.9.
3.9. Yeah.
No, it's not close enough to a 4
Yeah,
because it
it's
has a
not
few issues,
not a 4 for
but
me.
it's a
I'm like in between like a 3.75.
yeah, and that's fair. I
Yeah.
think the movie gets definitely boosted up by
It's at like a 6.8 right now, so.
I think it gets boosted up by the cinematography and just
But
the,
yeah, that's what
the
really
overall look of the
I
movie.
just enjoyed watching it, even if I was like, I don't like, even if you're like, I don't even give a fuck about the characters. I just like really enjoyed the setting and
I mean,
the
the
look of
characters
it.
were the actors were sound. They gave okay
Yeah, no
performances.
one's no one's terrible by any means.
You had the guy from Game of Thrones. He's always good. You put
Yeah,
him in anything,
yeah,
he can
I love
be
him.
good. So yeah, I mean, but the star is the effects of the ship and
Definitely.
just and the mood. I think they captured that, and I think you could put this movie on like right after Dracula, 1931, and it would kind of fit. So
Yeah,
yeah, 3.9 for me. I enjoyed it. It's a good little monster movie.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll probably just stick at a 3.75 because
Yeah,
normally or 3.8.
yeah. It's hovering around there.
But
And we'll see whether but my only and that's my only little negative too. If I had like my one main flaw, and I think as you said it, I think it's a positive and a negative is the ending where you don't get really a resolute ending. It's almost like possible to be continued
yeah,
because we've had so many of those this year with Mission Impossible. That irked me a little bit. I liked it, and if we get like the story continues and like where it could go, I liked the ending, but yet I was a little miffed that we didn't get quite a concrete ending. But that's a very minor nit, I think.
yeah,
I like both. If you didn't get the ending we got, if you didn't get away, I guess you would never would have had that great scene in the
It
bar
looks
where he's
like,
sitting there with the hat and stuff.
yeah, that was I really thought that was cool. It looks like this guy's supposed to direct the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark Part
Yeah,
2.
part two, right? Yeah, I
Like he
heard
did
that.
the first one as well. So wait, he did do no that I kept it. Why wouldn't that be like one of the top movies on his thing? It shows like autopsy. It shows Troll Hunter and autopsy of Jane Hunt or
Well, I'm
Jane
not sure how
Doe.
well I did about it. I thought it was a solid movie, Scary
No,
Stories.
that did pretty good at the box office.
Yeah,
Scary Stories.
but
Like
it got
that was a good movie to take your kids to. It was PG-13. It should have been rated R though. But
well, it could have been rated R if they did a little bit more with it.
and that was the screen story was done by Del Toro, so this guy has ties to Del Toro, which that makes sense why he's doing something like this because Del Toro would put something like this out without a doubt. Yeah, that's sick.
That's the scarecrow from that movie.
I thought it was a good movie. I just wish it was rated R.
Yeah,
That's
it
my
was kind of
only.
it
If it
was
was
kind of aimed
rated
so
R,
kids
it
could enjoy
really
it.
went dark. But
Yeah,
I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't
yeah,
terrible.
I did dig too.
I was a big fan of the books back when I was a kid, so I just wish they went full on with it.
Yeah, I mean, there are.
They
I
did
think
a,
there are.
they did a
There,
good job.
it's like Goosebumps, maybe a level above it.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say with that and with I heard the Jane Doe is good, but with that and with this movie, the guy has some potential to be a decent horror director. I
Yeah,
think so.
definitely. It seems like that's where he's making his wheelhouse.
We might see some
I haven't
more.
seen the Jane Doe movie. Oh man, that's got Emil Hirsch in it and Brian Cox. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, Brian Cox just recently died, didn't he? I think,
I don't know. I
but
don't think
yeah, I think he did. But yeah,
that.
definitely.
I think you're wrong on that.
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead, boss. Yeah, he's still alive.
Well, let's get Dracula and finish him off,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
right. Yeah, so 3.7538 from me and a 3.9 from Scarpad. So
That's got to mean it's like a 3.869, no?
yeah, 3.69. So I think if you're a big fan and you love going to the movies and you love horror, I think this is worth your time to go see, especially if you're a big creature feature, monster movie fan. I
Yeah, I
think
mean, if
it'll
you've
be
seen everything,
enjoyable.
yeah, if you've seen everything else out, you've seen the Meg already, and you've seen Oppenheimer and
Yeah.
Barbie. This is the movie out this week, and it's worth seeing. Till
Yeah.
Strays comes
If
out
not,
next week.
wait in it. It'll be on digital in a month or two,
Yeah, I'll be on the
But
Peacock on the cock. So
yeah. Well, maybe it'll be on the cock. Who knows?
yeah,
I
it's
don't know about
Universal, and Universal owns the cocks.
it. Oh, okay. Okay, then yeah, it'll be on the cack. Um, but yeah, so come check us out this Saturday. We will be doing tomorrow now. We will be doing, depending when you guys are watching this, we will be finishing Hatchet Fest on my show with Victor Crowley, so that should be
Victor
fun. And
Crowley.
then we'll be taking a week off to get ready for Horror Fest, so that's going to be iconic. And as always, me and Scarpel will be dropping more content. We
Are you gonna tell them what we might be doing? Well, I think while we make the announcement, what we'll be doing possibly coming up too.
Oh well, I know we're gonna be working on the birds. Alfred
We're
Hitchcock's
good.
The Birds.
We're good,
We're
yeah,
gonna be
after
doing, and
Hitchcock's
then
the Birds,
we're gonna
and then
probably
we're
be
gonna be
doing.
starting
We're gonna try
what?
to get Perry to join us and do a 007 series review because
Yeah,
I've only seen like two of the Daniel Craig movies, and I've never seen any of the old
yeah.
school 007.
This won't be an
So
overall review. It'll be doing every movie in the series, all 25,
yeah,
26 if you include Never Say Never Again.
yeah.
And we'll be doing it every so often and going through the entire series for me multiple times, for these guys probably for the first time.
First time for
So
Private Perry and me. So
yeah, so it's
and
gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And I
yeah,
think
so
you'll like
we
it. I think
starting it off with Doctor No. You said right?
Doctor No
That's
is number one, so
uh,
that's where we'll be starting.
so
Going We'll be
John.
going in order of the movies been released. So
Yeah, so it should be fun, man. I've always thought 007 was awesome, was a cool character. I just never d- really watched his movies. I've only seen maybe one Pierce Brosnan movie, bits and pieces. Not even just sat down and watched the whole thing. and then I've seen, you know, like the first two Daniel Craig movies, and um, I think I saw maybe half of Skyfall, so I'm excited to go
Yeah, when I
down
was
the
growing up, like Sean Connery and the Roger Moore ones were on TV almost every
yeah,
weekend back then. So
yeah. I love
I
Sean Connery, so I'm excited.
see them a ton. So
It's gonna be a fun deep dive, that's for sure. So yeah, definitely check that out, and look out for our
and
bird.
I know Dylan will love it because the the Blu-rays of these movies are the ultimate extras fan because they are chucked full of
Really?
making ofs,
Oh
declassifieds, all sorts of features on each movie. They go really into depth. They're chuck full.
yeah,
So you'll love watching some of those extras. So
fuck
should
yeah.
be
You
fun.
know that's one of my favorite things, diving into behind the scenes, just kind of getting, you know, uh just deep diving into the movies and seeing what the directors and actor what they're trying to, you know, accomplish when, or you know, behind the scenes, and just what they're trying to do when they're creating these movies. I love that shit. So yeah, as always, guys, hit that like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get updates when we go live. And or get updated when we drop a recorded video. You guys will not want to miss it. We're dropping a bunch of shit all the time now. Um, and as always, we'll catch you next time. Peace out, y'all.